So, Right Honorable Minister, Director General,
we are committed to the cause of the association, and we pledge our support to the association. Lastly, Honorable Minister, an academic institution has been having an issue where decisions are made in government and other areas, and we have never seen people consulting the research that are done in an institution or in Makerere or in the UMI here to inform the decisions, especially issues affecting the environment. We have a lot of research outputs here, but people, some of you have researched here and have produced dissertation in the area of environmental protection, environmental management. We also have researches in garbage management.
As Rotary, we are currently working in schools. We are promoting tree planting in schools with the idea of nurturing a younger generation of environment stewards so that we have a generation of children who grow up fully aware of the need and their responsibility to protect the environment. However, we are not doing this alone. We are collaborating with many organizations, many government organizations, as well as private sector, corporate sector. And so we welcome this morning more collaboration, and we are delighted to collaborate with the Uganda Evaluation Association, as well as the government.
National Forestry Authority, we're very happy that we are being joined by everybody to protect the environment. What do we do as National Forestry Authority? In most cases, people misunderstand us to be responsible for the whole forestry sector in the country. But we manage central forest reserves that belong to government, which is around 1 million and 1.2 million hectares. But the biggest part of the forest estate is our lands on private land. And that's where we have had challenges of degradation, where people have converted land, forests for agriculture and for other uses. And as NFA, we have been left isolated in those central forest reserves. But we have not sat back because the challenges in the landscape have come to us. Originally, we thought we would remain in the reserves, but we have realized we need everybody. So we have moved out, and we're trying to address the challenges of climate change.
Thank you so much, Commissioner in charge of monitoring and evaluation in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Executive Director of the National Forestry Authority, represented here, Ms. Anne Nkutu, Director, District Governor, Rotary District 9213, Dr. James Nkata, the Director General of UMI, our host, and also hosting the association that is looking at the professional part of it in terms of monitoring and evaluation. Mr. Matthew Lubulwa, the President, Uganda Evaluation Association, and who is also hosted here, and the team that look at issues to do with evaluation, especially on the professional part of it. I come here as the Minister in charge of monitoring and evaluation in the Office of the Prime Minister in the Government of Uganda. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank UMI for hosting us for this conference for which we are going to have, but also in a special way for according us to space to have our association hosted here. Thank you so much. The theme for the conference is Development with Purpose, Empowering Accountable Learning for Achieving Development Goals and Enhancing Climate Resilience. Uganda's National Development Plan 3 is a strategic framework that aligns with the Uganda Vision 2040, aiming to elevate the country towards the middle income status, for which we have just achieved but we are still in probation and at the base. It focuses on enhancing competitiveness for sustainable wealth creation, employment, and inclusive growth. Under SDGs, when it comes to inclusive growth, it is leaving no one behind and reaching the farthest first. This program is pivotal in accelerating progress towards sustainable development goals, for which Uganda is signatory to, and we must achieve by 2030, and also to the African Agenda for 2063, for which we are active members. So when we come here to discuss issues to do with the evaluation, it means we are well aware that we are moving, but we must evaluate our performance. Are we on track? Will we be able to achieve what we've set out? So when you host us as UMI, a professional institution that does not take on young people, but takes on those who have achieved the first grade, that is undergraduate, and we come here for postgraduate, that means you are helping us to professionalize in our professions. So we come here as evaluators to have a conference together with a team of professionals in UMI and also other universities and all government institutions to evaluate ourselves, but also to be told by those who are professionals whether we are doing it right or wrong and where we need to improve. But as the Director for National Forestry Authority has said, it is collective responsibility. We in the government are doing our work in trustship. So we've come to work with the different actors, even non-state actors. That's why we have Rotary here, so that we are able to work together as a team. The objectives, one is experience sharing. This is a platform where we come as stakeholders to share experiences and insights from evaluations that contribute to reaching the national targets that we set out in the National Development Plan 3, now moving to National Development Plan 4, the SDGs 2030, and African Agenda, which is 2063, but also our NRM Manifesto, which is 2021 to 2026. We are going to put special focus on building resilience against climate change. Why climate change? We've put emphasis on climate change because we have one world, we have one earth to live on. If we don't handle issues to do with the climate change, we may have no world to live in and to hand over to the generations to come. So it is now, we're already late as a world and also as a country, but we must now accelerate. So the second objective is innovative practices. We want to explore and promote innovative evaluation practices that enhance learning and foster strong synergies between local practitioners and international evaluation actors. Because we cannot work in isolation. We are not in a box. We're in one world. So we want to blend the local and the international to make sure we bring innovation in these issues to do with climate change, because it is important. Actions of another country, actions of another actor affect us. But how do we make them come to one table? That's why we have this conference. Then the conference will also help us to emphasize the transition from traditional accountability-centric evaluation to practices that prioritize learning and impact. This shift is critical for facilitating informed decision-making and improving project and program service deliveries. So, there is a way we manage our environment, our climate issues, as in our traditional way. Let's pull out what is important and what is useful and what can help us sustain and improve. And what is not good, let's see a way of how to handle. So when we come to talking about issues to do with the environment, I also want to us to thank UMI and other institutions, educational institutions, for the research. First of all, I want to thank His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and his government, to which I belong, that government has put in a lot of money for research. But as you have brought it out clearly, we are not really consuming all the research. Government funds, using taxpayers' money, and even donors also fund, but we are not coming to your institutions, the academic institutions, to take advantage of the research so that we make decisions in trustship from an informed point of view. And if we've been doing it, we have not really done it comprehensively. So this conference should help us to agree on how to work together as government, especially Office of the Prime Minister, together with the whole government, so that we can maximize the research that you have done, especially in the area of climate change. So I also come, after listening to you, Dr. Nkata. Remember, we took a decision some time back that for people to be administrators in government, they must have some courses. They must have qualified either at a diploma level or degree as administrators, so that they administer government, especially on the technical side, when they are qualified, so that we get better service. But from what I've observed, we may have to bring in a policy at sometime, maybe within 2-3 years, that for somebody to be an administrator should also have a certificate or a diploma on research, monitoring, and evaluation, because that's the only way we will be able to evaluate what we are doing, to be able to form and inform policy, but also evaluate the performance, our performance when it comes to the different policies. So it is a component that I think we should now begin the debate and have the discussion also around that, because that's the only way you can be able to tell whether you are really moving well as an individual first, but also as part of the institution to which you belong. So the narrow base of the consumption of the research you do, I want to say we are going to improve, because all of this is taxpayers' money and the intention is good. So when it comes to issues of climate change, we have issues to conserve the environment. Whenever we talk of conserving the environment, we always talk about issues to do with the forests that are on government land. But as the Director, National Forestry Authority, has said that biggest chunk of land is private land. When you look at the Constitution of Uganda, there is no free land and there is no idle land. Wherever you go, you may see that land with no buildings or no trees, the owner is there. We should also begin the discussion, we as government, through you, the Ministry of Environment and Water, specifically National Forestry Authority. How do we get to those individuals and encourage them to plant trees? I want to take this opportunity to thank Rotary International. When you came out and say you want 1 million trees to be planted, and you worked around that for a full year, that was good effort. I want to say thank you on behalf of the NRM government. So when it comes to forests, how do you call on the private sector, individuals, clans, because like in northern Uganda, land is owned by, it's customary, it's owned by different clans. How do we encourage them to plant more trees and work with them for God and my country?
What are it of honor? What are the plans?
I have to first wash my hands.
What are the plans?
Where are we? Where do we? Yeah, but the wood is also good.
We come here as Office of the Prime Minister to work together with the government institutions, academia and private sector to look at issues to do with the monitoring and evaluation to be sure that we are moving on track. So our theme is basically to look at evaluation in relation to climate resilience. So we want to see that in our National Development Plan 3, we are moving to 4. How have we been able to move? On issues to do with SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals 2030, how are we moving on issues to do with climate change, issues to do with the climate resilience, and also our agenda, African Agenda 2063, are we on track? So we come now to have a discussion and engagement with the professionals in evaluation.